Baseball hats, top hats, ridiculous hats. We've all worn our fair share of hats, physically and metaphorically. Wood hats? Never worn one. But the one we have, you don't wear, and we're going to find out what you do with it on this episode of Savor the Burn.
Recently, the founder just had like his 80-some-odd birthday shindig.
Wow! So
I know Nancy and a couple of the other guild members went to the birthday thing.
Okay, that's cool.
I thought it would have been cool to go to.
Turned out to be a really cool little group on Facebook. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, to this episode of the Savor the Bird podcast. My name is Jonathan, and to the right we have Mr. W2. How do you do?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, you've gone from wizard fingers to punt punch fingers to so many different nicknames tonight. It's all whiskey related, of course.
Oh, punt, of course.
Punt. He was whatever.
Well, that one doesn't have much of a punt, but
right.
Man, I am so excited.
What a beautiful bottle.
I am so excited to get into this bottle.
Yeah. You found this in where?
This was an impromptu stop.
Yeah, on your way back. We
had already spent an entire week in Louisville. Mm-hmm. We had done all the things. We had gone to all the distilleries. I had a good haul of whiskey in the back seat. We're just trying to get home.
Yeah.
And we're rolling down I-70. My amazing wife said, "You need to stop at Wood Hat, don't you?" And I'm like, you know what? Okay, first off, I'm not sure it had even registered in my head. Mm-hmm. A week's long vacation, home stretch is there. We're not quite to Columbia yet, so it's still a little ways away, but I'm trying to get us home. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "You want to stop?" I'm like, okay. Yes, I want to stop. So we stop.
Stupid whiskey.
And then we get in the door. Well, first off, they have 12.5 offerings.
Oh, really?
They have a lot of things to try.
All the gimmick whiskeys you could ever want.
They have a ton of gimmick whiskeys. They have a ton of legit stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But she goes, "Yeah, pick any 5 you want. It's $5."
Oh, for a tasting, for a flight.
$5 for any 5 I want.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm like,
okay.
Oh my God. I'm like, we're headed home. I'm trying to get home.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be good, lady.
Okay, let me see what you got. And so I'm like, so I sat there for a minute, and it's like, okay, all the ones I want. I'm doing one flight. Mm-hmm. Yes, 2 flights would only be $10, but I don't need two flights,
especially when you got so much longer to drive.
So I'm like, all right, let's pick the
must-haves.
The must-haves, the top of the class, which consists of, okay, that one's single barrel, okay, that one's cask strength, okay, that one.
Yeah.
I went down the list and I'm like, yep, best of the best. Let's make this an all-star.
Show me what you made of.
And this is one of them. And after the flight I had, Old Blue was one of them that was my absolute favorite out of all of them that I tried. And I walk over and I pick up the bottle and I was just like, holy hell, this thing is dark as hell. There's no age statement on this thing. Mm-hmm. Old Blue, Wood Hat Spirits. You pour, I'll talk.
Yeah.
Wood Hat Spirits, Old Blue, single barrel cask strength corn whiskey. There's no age statement. Wood Hat Spirits is in Missouri. It's right off the I-70 highway at the Herman exit. So Herman is, if you jump on the Amtrak, Herman is the wine stop or the Oktoberfest stop of the Amtrak.
Okay.
Herman is a German town in the middle of Missouri. They do a huge Oktoberfest in September through October, but it's also, there's a lot of wineries in that area. Wood Hat sits. I mean, you can see it from the highway. Every time you pass, they have a big billboard. You can see the stills or the fermentation tanks sitting there. And so we stopped. We went in. They had the distillery cats running all over the place.
Distillery cats. Chasing distillery rats. Yeah.
You know, they had a whole bunch of wood hats, you know, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But anyway, this is their Old Blue. Yep, I'm going to pause for a second.
Nice.
You got to love the pop. This is their Old Blue, which is a corn whiskey. It is single barrel and cask strength, and that is what got me on it. Good night. Look at that color. That is, you know what? We have had so many whiskeys that have had the tasting notes have said this is a mahogany color.
That's mahogany.
This is the first time ever I would say yes, that is mahogany. That is so freaking dark. Holy cow.
You know, you said, all right, so you said Amtrak.
Yes.
It's one of the stops on Amtrak. And so,
it is.
Herman, Missouri, it's surrounded by farms, so that means it's probably a large Amish community.
Yes.
The thing about Amtrak, and a lot of people don't know this, is that it was primarily built in this area by the Amish. And so the train company that employed them wanted to honor them, and it's actually pronounced Amtrak. It's total bullshit. Keep going.
You had me for a half a second. I'm like, yeah. This fucker's full of shit.
Yeah, I learned that from Johnny Bear.
So anyway, this is single barrel. This is cask strength at 133.8 proof.
Smells hot, dude. Smells hot.
Guarantee you, that is
so
true.
Fucking dark, dude. You can't see that light. You can't see it through the light.
This is true cask strength.
So cool.
Not discrediting other cask strengths that we've tried, but this clearly. Selected for delectability, each barrel is a unique taste and experience. Flavors range from caramel and almond to cigar box and white pepper, with the smooth finish found in Wood Hat's blue corn whiskeys.
All right.
What's up with the Wood Hat? Gary Heingardner, owner-founder, is a man of many hats. Quite literally. Beyond the distillery, he creates and wears hats made of real wood. A true unique skill learned from the concept inventor Johannes Mikkelsen. Check them out in all their glory while you are visiting the tasting room at Wood Hat Spirits in Florence, Missouri. I'm gonna stop right there.
So they're just all on display.
They're on display, and there was a whole write up on there on how he carves these in the dark. Because then after
the human species is so weird.
After he routes out the inside of there, he carves these in the dark because they are paper thin. These wood hats are paper thin, and as he's carving it in, there's a light on the router that's carving on there, and doing it in the dark allows him to know how to get to that paper thinness, because then all of a sudden it starts to glow when he gets close to that.
Yeah, when you're doing it in the dark, it really helps to have a little bit of light to see where you are.
I did not try any on. I wanted to put one on my head, but I did not. But I swear, there were cowboy hats, there were berets, there were just every kind of hat you can imagine, made out of solid wood, but they had the folds and the wrinkles and all the things that a real hat would have, and so they looked like an authentic hat, but they're made out of just carved wood. Incredible. So I read that paragraph.
Yeah, speaking of hats, did you hear that the Indiana Jones hat recently sold at auction?
I did not.
From one of the movies, one of the stunt guys still had one of the felt fedoras that was in the Indiana Jones.
And there were
movies.
several wood fedoras.
Yeah,
on the show.
and I guess this thing sold at auction for like $670,000 or $630,000.
Wow.
Which is nuts. But the bad news is I put a mortgage on your house to buy it, so you're going to be in debt for a lot longer than you thought you were. But it's not just you.
Shit.
I mortgaged several of my other friends' houses, and if you're watching this, probably yours too.
So, wood-fired distilling.
Okay.
Carbon neutral.
Carbon neutral.
We are the only legal wood-fired distillery that we know of.
Huh.
We burn wood chips, which are scrap wood from a local stave mill. The fire heats a specialized heat transfer oil to 375 degrees, which is pumped through insulated pipes into coils in the still to cook or distill the mash. Unique wood elements. Barrels are a key element in the flavor of whiskey. Yes, sir. We use 3 types of barrel treatments, 3 types of secondary barrel finishes, and 2 sizes of barrels. Most of our barrels are made of staves that have been air dried for years, which removes some of the more harsh tannins. I have no tasting notes whatsoever. That is all I have from them. I actually had nothing really for this product specific, other than it is made with blue corn.
Okay.
I do know that, which was what the name kind of nods to.
Oh, shit. It says shake to rejuvenate. Let me read the back of this real quick, right before we get.
And I'm gonna get
your nose. Come up with some things, and we'll compare notes on that. It says we grew the corn, made the whiskey, aged it in a barrel for years to let the magic happen. Then we put it into this bottle for you. No dilution with water. Wonder that was. Anyway, no dilution with water, no chill filtering, no additions. Consequently, you may see some tasty particles settling out. Shake to rejuvenate. So, had I given that a little bit of a shake, we probably could have seen some. I think that's some bubbles from the shake.
No. There's.
You see them in there?
Very much so. There's a lot.
Oh shit! Yeah.
There is sediment all throughout there. Yep.
It's coming down. Yeah, dude.
No doubt about that. That is
damn. I should have read the back of the bottle. You know, they say never judge a book by its cover, but. By
the way, I want to commend you on your pour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm like what, 1/4 ounce shy of a perfect pour. Please don't fucking hurt me. There we go.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
So solid.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So it's like we poured a whiskey or two.
All right, get your nose and tell me what you think.
Okay, first off, if you bury your nose down in this, it is 133.8 proof, so it is going to bite back.
It did. It bit me, but I mean, it didn't bite me as hard as some others have.
However, okay, I'm blanking on what it was that we tried. But we have had a couple that we have gone a step beyond vanilla and said vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean? Oh, yeah.
I'm getting vanilla bean on this.
All right.
I'm getting more of a toffee than a caramel.
More toffee than caramel.
Lots of oak. Dude,
lots of oak.
That is straight Missouri oak right there. Corn.
Corn?
Super, yeah, like cream corn.
Follow me on this, all right?
Yep.
Get yourself like a kind of off to the side, kind of like the way your sister does it, like with one nostril.
Yep.
You know, bring it in slow and kind of smooth, like. You know, kind of like that. All right.
Applesauce?
No, you spent time in wood shop. It's got a fresh cut wood smell in the nose. To me.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that pine shaving.
Yeah, you cut 2x4s. It smells like that to me, and I don't think.
But I think there's some applesauce.
I've ever had that before.
Like a cinnamon applesauce.
All right. So yeah, I picked up on cinnamon.
I have a toddler in the house, so we go through a lot of applesauce.
I love cinnamon applesauce. If I can't find it the way I need it, like when I go on paleo diet, I look for no sugar added applesauce, so it's nothing but just applesauce in there. Right. I add honey and I add cinnamon, stir that shit up. Cinnamon applesauce is the way to go.
I am still beside myself with this color. Let's get this on the palate.
Let me write this down here. Sauce. All right, so that's
maybe a little bit of wildflower honey.
Wildflower honey. Honey. It's going to be kind of hard to read. Oak and heat.
Oak for days. But more honey.
That 133. That drink's like 133 to me.
There's char on that.
Yes, lots of char, and I think that's what we're seeing floating around in the bottle.
That is your char stone fruit.
Char stone fruit.
Like I'm thinking like a charred plum, charred peach.
Sweet stone fruit. Yeah, like so. It's not the juice; it's like the flesh.
Don't call me crazy, but I'm also getting waffles, like multi-grain waffles. Again, I have a toddler in the house. We go through a lot of frozen waffles.
Yeah, but multigrain? I don't think
Oh yeah,
I know I haven't had them.
We always.
I'm not
do
even
the
sure if I've seen them.
We always do the multigrain.
Like Eggo has them. Just about anybody.
Hy-Vee brand.
Hy-Vee brand. So nose. Let me count these up real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, how do I score this thing?
9, 10 things on the nose alone. We didn't get into the finish. What are you picking up on the finish as far as flavors go?
That finish is long as hell. And just about everything I feel pulls right on through, right along with it. Especially the heat. Yeah. So you're not escaping 133.8 proof.
First pull.
Don't forget the 0.8.
0.8, yeah. The first pull will, whoo! I mean, you're gonna get a Ric Flair off of this bitch. But second, third, fourth pull, or palating, if you will, you get more used to it. But I mean, we on the palate, I got oak, honey. The char is very present. I'm getting stone fruit, the flesh of the stone fruit.
Okay.
And the sweet stone fruit flesh carried through on the finish as well. And smoke. I'm getting smoke on the palate.
What about plum?
Plum, that's a stone fruit,
right?
And that it's the flesh of it, so the skin can be a little bit bitter. That's why I said the flesh. It's just like
as soon as you said flesh, sweet, it immediately made me think of plum.
Yeah,
or nectarine.
Nectarine, yeah. I'd say plum.
Plum.
It's the sweeter of the two. But you think plum? I'll say plum and nectarine because I can see that.
This one surprised me.
Yeah. For me, you tried this?
I tried it. I enjoyed it. This
completely different experience.
Out of the flight that I had, this was the standout that led me to buy the bottle. Yeah. This is actually better than I remember it.
Plus, who knows how long that bottle had been opened? Right. And like how full it was and how long it had been open compared to how full it was.
Approach that nose with caution because it will bite you. It will bite back.
It will. There's okay, Jesse. There's timber rattlers in this thing. So if you go sniffing them, they're gonna catch you and go. They're gonna get you.
Or if you're a new metal guy. That might be.
Is that a grindcore thing?
Grindcore.
I say grindcore.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
I'm terrible at subgenres.
So am I.
Because I start to talk about new metal, and then I go, okay, hang on, I gotta stop because the world thinks of new metal as Korn from 1993. 93. Yeah. 3, 4. Whenever Blind was the blow up album.
90
or single.
When was that? 4? 94? Yeah.
That is the epitome of new metal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the today young whippersnappers.
Not
new metal.
Not NU metal with the umlauts.
Right.
You're talking about new
NEW. Yeah, grindcore.
And like whatever
that is.
Whatever like Lorna Shore or I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to throw.
And it's so funny because that
throw Whitechapel in there too.
Well,
I don't know.
I was getting ready to say that the fans and the genre that encapsulates that loves old school Whitechapel, which is not old school at all. It's still very, very new. But the newest Whitechapel, that's a good chunk of that fan
album?
Base hates.
They hate it.
I love it,
dude. That album is so.
I love the newest Whitechapel.
Is it Kin? Is that the name of the album?
I think it blows everything else away.
It's an opera.
It's
an opera
awesome.
is an opera when it comes to album.
There's so much depth to it.
Like a CD, like an opera is a themed based album. So no, it's not like la 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 la, all that shit. But it's like, fucking Viking helmets and the fat lady and all that stuff. No, it's an album that tells a story from beginning to end, and I think that's what's going on with that Whitechapel album.
Yep.
It's I don't know. I listened to that album for a good 3 or 4 weeks, just over and over and over.
Good. It's so freaking good.
But so is this here whiskey. And that was a cool story. Like, you're tired, you're on your way back from a week's worth of distillery hopping,
and I'm like, yes,
and your darling bride is like, you need to stop at Woodhead, don't you? And you're like,
yes, dear.
Let's go, family. And then you get in there. It's a totally cool experience.
But Henry starts chasing the distillery cats around, and he's good. Everyone's good.
Yeah, as long as everybody's happy.
I'm like, all right.
He's in there disturbing the spirits.
$5 flight. Pour me up.
Yep, I guess. When in Rome.
Wait a minute. Oh,
you're twisting my arm. Stop. Uncle, give me the $5 flight. That's unheard of. A $5 flight? Come on.
There was a guy already in there, and by the time she poured up my flight, he was already having her pour up his second flight.
Oh, yeah.
And we left, but he was still there when we left. I think he was also, they're right off the highway. He was also traveling to and fro, and
okay. So you got a second to talk with him?
No, I didn't really. I mean, and we kind of overheard. We had conversations, and we went, yeah, I agree, kind of the thing. But he had just finished his flight as mine was being poured, and then as mine was being poured, he was selecting his next flight. I could have easily.
Molasses.
If I would have tried everything, it would have taken 3 full flights.
Oh wow! So they had a lot.
They had a lot of liqueurs, cordials, and then they had. They had more than a flight's worth of like real deal whiskeys, bourbons, etc. But they also had the liqueurs and the cordials and everything else. If you would have tried everything, it would have been 3 full flights, which for $15, that's still a steal.
Yeah. I just picked up on Late Palate molasses. It is 100% molasses.
Yep.
Let's see here. What'd you give it on the nose?
Whiskey. Well, it is 133.8.
Yeah. On the nose, I gave it a 4 1/4 because of the 10 different notes that we picked up just on the nose alone.
I gave it 4.5.
4.5? Holy smokes! All right. Yeah. So there's
like you said,
so much
to offer,
and that's indicative of a barrel, a cask strength. Single barrel offering. How about the palate?
Palate, I give it 4 1/4.
4 1/4. This is weird. You're rating everything higher than I did by a 1/4 point so far. On the palate, we picked up strong oak. You picked up honey. You said char, which that's what's floating around in there. I picked up on some stone fruit, particularly kind of the fleshy part of it, and I picked up on some smoke. And we don't have. You said we don't have tasting notes.
No tasting notes.
That's fine. Not everybody has them. And really,
I hadn't thought about that, but now that you said it, there's definitely some smoke.
So that was 4 On palate, 425. On palate, finish.
You're not going to believe this.
What?
My finish.
4.25?
Oh, no. 4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
You went up.
I went up.
Okay.
The proof on this really, really helped extend the finish, but the extension of the finish, all the flavors for me carried right on through with it. So that nice long finish still had molasses. It had the dark stone fruits. It had the blue corn. It had the toffees and maybe some smoke even. Yeah,
so for the tasting notes that we came up with on the finish, I have written down here sweet stone fruit flesh. Particularly flesh, because the skins can be kind of bitter, and this is just beyond the ripe point where they're a little bit softer and just so much sweeter. Specifically, and you pointed this out, plum, and nectarine. You pointed that out too, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Molasses for me showed up on the late finish, and like you said, blue corn and toffee. Notes kind of pop up. This was very good. How about bottle presentation? We talked about this.
This is a beautiful bottle.
Things.
There's so much unique about this bottle.
You said earlier something about the hourglass.
There's a very subtle hourglass. That, it so subtly bulges out, tapers in, and then kicks right back out like a beautiful pair of bell-bottom jeans
on a beautiful girl.
I have not seen a bottle like this. And if you look like down from the top, bird's eye, it's square. It's a square.
Oh yeah.
Bottle. The neck band that goes across the top. One side is cast strength. The other side is single barrel.
And then on the top, you got that wood hat logo.
You got the wood hat. I gave it 4 3/4.
4 3/4.
Just because of the uniqueness of the bottle.
I gave it a 4 even. But
I'm mad at that.
I mean, you said it's square and it's kind of got like a little bit of an hourglass kind of shape, like a lady. We need to get to the final scores.
Let's do this.
So you gave it a right. You know what? Before we get to the final scores, this is how we grade things. We go nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation. We add all those up, divide that by 2, and that's how we end up with our final score. So if that makes sense to you, we will continue. W2, what'd you give it as your final?
This turned out to be a 9 even.
9 even. All right, so we've hit a divide with this, and nobody's to blame. This is all just personal preference. I gave it 8 1/8.
Okay.
So we are 7/8 of a full point off from one another. But
well, to be fair,
you know what?
Our presentation was probably the largest spread. So
definitely was. It was 3/4 of a point.
No. So
yeah, but with the others, there was another 3/4 point spread between nose, palate, and finish.
All right.
So it was a full 1.5 that got divided by 2. Whatever, doesn't matter. You got second nose. I'm hoping that drop doesn't.
I mean, it continues to blow my mind how much cereal grains show up
on just about every single second nose. And it makes me wonder if those second noses, the ones that we get, show up on other glasses. Like if you went to savortheburn.com/shop hypothetically, and you scroll down and you got some of the cocktail glasses.
Click the thing.
Yeah. If you look at the cocktail glasses that we have in there, which are very beautiful, those are handpicked by us, by small businesses that we put in our small business podcast because we love to support all the things. So anyway, so if you try it from those, is it going to measure up to the same second nose that you get from these Glencairns that you can also get in the shop? Grits with molasses.
That's a new one. Definitely molasses. Yeah, I was thinking.
They're not buttered grits, not yet, but they're sweet.
I was thinking the usual suspects, cereal grains.
Yeah. Cereal. Okay. Yeah. So
oatmeals and but definitely a molasses.
Yeah. So if not grits, then like cream of wheat.
And then I would go. I would go your cereal berries.
Blueberries,
raspberries.
God forbid you put strawberries in there. To each their own. Yeah.
Guilty.
That's a really interesting second nose. And second nose, it's not part of the rating process because it's just. I mean, who the hell thinks of that stuff? Besides nerds like us, I guess. Whatevs, doesn't matter. You know what? At 133.8% proof,
dude,
this I mean, just by proof alone, this would be great for a cocktail. Mm-hmm. But the amount of flavors that this thing provides,
and I still just cannot get over that color.
I'm thinking like Midnight Manhattan. The old school, regular, plain old Manhattan. I don't know if I'd make it into a whiskey sour. Sour masters are great for whiskey sours.
Maybe.
Or just straight bourbons are great. Maybe it would be good. Old fashioned is kind of my standard go-to because it's just so simple. It's a few shakes of bitters. It's an ice cube, big. We like square cubes, something that melts slowly, not smaller, whatever. And a cherry, maybe some orange expression over the top. Smoked or not, you could really dilute this thing down and still have plenty of room for it to shine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we talked about the whiskey, we talked about the second nose, we talked about possible cocktails. What kind of person would appreciate something like this?
So real quick though,
yeah.
I'm sure we mentioned it, but just glancing down here at the back label,
mm-hmm.
I noticed right here at the top it says "From Field to Glass."
Yeah.
For some reason, that speaks volumes to me.
Mm-hmm. It's like farm to table.
I'm all about that, and I
mm-hmm.
really, really love that. And it reminds me of, this last summer we did our Louisville vacation.
Yeah.
We did the Bottled and Bond tour at
mm-hmm.
Heaven's Hill,
mm-hmm.
which was on a Monday, and throughout the tour,
if you want the least Mondayest experience ever, go to a distillery. This doesn't feel like a Monday. It feels like Friday, and it's only 8:30 a.m. Whatever. Anyway, as you were saying,
and later in the day, guess where we were?
I'm guessing Jim Beam.
Just saying.
That smells good. Second dose.
No, but anyway, while we were there on the Bottle and Bond tour, it was a Monday, and the tour guide started talking about I don't remember how recent, but semi-recent new master distiller that came over from Ireland.
Okay.
Was like a big deal in Ireland. Came over to Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill is the second largest production distiller in the United States.
Wow. Second only to Jim Beam.
Yep. And Jim Beam is who got Heaven Hill through the big fire that they had.
Okay.
That pretty much demolished all of their production for quite some time. Jim Beam is not more than a 20-minute drive right down the street. Right. And so there were. That's the thing that's cool about the whiskey that I've learned about the whiskey industry is the distillers help other distillers. It's not a cutthroat,
It's a friendly competition.
It's a friendly competition, and everyone is out to help their fellow distiller. And Jim Beam stepped in and was like, you know what? What can we do to help you out? And they ended up basically letting them use their facility to distill their product, their rick houses to age the product until they could get back up and running and all that. So anyway, all that to say, while we were there and on the tour, he was talking about the latest master distiller. I don't remember how long the master distiller's been there, but someone asked a question of, because she mentioned that he came from Ireland. And so someone in the group asked the question of, has this master distiller had an opportunity to put his stamp or his his ownership on a product yet. And she said, well, I can't say, but I think Taco Tuesday of this week, there might be a new release. And she was trying to be super vague. She made a Taco Tuesday reference. Tomorrow, essentially is what what it came down to is. Anyway, you fast forward. The next day is when the press release came out about their grain to glass offering of the corn whiskey, rye, and bourbon offerings, which people have been going ape shit over. I've heard nothing but great things about the whiskey tasting that we're doing next month at Hy-Vee and Lee Summit. They have a dozen of those bottles available that are going to be part of the raffle, including the old Fitzgerald 10-year that I gotta have. Gotta have it. But yes. So anyway, all that to say, long story short, tangent, whatever. If you've been following around, you know. It's tangents are what we do.
Yeah, it's part.
We specialize in those.
It's part of the process. You got whiskey review, rocktails, cocktails, and tangents. That's just what happens.
So the back of the label
on our welcome video on YouTube.
Speaking of YouTube, it totally is.
It is, yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, click that bell notification to stay up to date on all things Savor the Burn.
So looking at the back of the label, it says from field to glass.
Yeah.
That spoke volumes to me because those kinds of things it reminds me of that. I really appreciate the community, the small town, the immediacy of growing it yourself and making it available on your table or in this case, in your glass.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And just because you can't go wrong with that.
Just because it went from field to barrel super quick, the barrel's got to do all the work. I mean, we don't know what barrel char level that was at, but we find some of that char in the bottle.
Oh, but you know what? We do because our notes.
Oh, yeah?
I thought
this was another no age statement.
Oh, you know what? No age statement, and actually, you were right. I thought this talked about a char level 3.
Oh, okay.
But no, the 3 was the types of barrel treatments. 3 types of secondary barrel finishes and 2 sizes of barrels, and it didn't give us the details.
Oh, 2 sizes of barrels. So if they're using
they're doing the 52s and the smaller
5s, or whatever they are. That could be why they're getting that kind of color out of a lower age. Because we ran into that kind of theme with the Wait For Me rye from West Bottoms Whiskey Company. Yeah, and so I mean that it had so much influence from that. Was it Chardonnay cask? Wild. So yeah, we ended up with a 7-8 point full point spread on this thing, but don't let that scare you away from checking out Wood Hat
single barrel cask strength Old Blue.
The Old Blue, yeah. This thing has flavors for days. It's got heat from that proof for days. So
it's blue tinted, dude.
You think that's blue tinted?
I think there's a blue tint to that.
You've been saying that. I just know that it is super dark. So dark.
I mean, there's a lot of red in that too, but there is a blue undertone to it.
I would suggest this to anyone that is into single barrels or even barrel picks.
And what were those final scores again? I gave it a 9. You gave it
a 9 even. I gave it a 8.125, 8 and a quarter, or 8 and an 8.
That's not bad either.
It's not bad at all. It's not bad.
Out of the flight I had,
you gave it a 9. I'm over an 8.
Out of the flight I had, this was the standout that I wanted to come home and share the bottle.
And that's the important thing. The whiskey business is not just a relationship business, as Bruzel says. I was going to say our friend, but we don't even know the guy. But the whiskey business is not just a relationship business, as Bruzel says. It's also a friendship business, and the whiskey history is also American history that we've come to find out throughout the course of this podcast. So this bad boy easily shareable for your cask strength, your barrel strength enthusiasts, anybody that loves a dark bourbon, a dark whiskey.
Boy, howdy.
Anybody that likes a little bit of sediment in the bottom of their bottom. I mean, you can't see it. You got to have the light behind it. But I mean, it's a fun bottle and a fun story. You go in there, you walk in there, wood hats. There's wood hats everywhere. Like where can you go that has that except for this place? Do you have any closing thoughts on this bad boy?
Dude, I like this.
I like it too. I think it's great for a share.
This was so good.
It'll be a perfect candidate for a stronger cocktail.
I think you're right. A revolver or a Manhattan.
Revolver, first frost.
This is going to be amazing. Oh my God, a first frost?
Manhattan, yeah.
Oh shit.
That, you know that...
I think we need to revisit that cocktail.
What's that noir one that West Bottoms has?
Oh, the Little Death.
Not Little, yeah, whatever that one is. I think if they would use this, it would be very interesting because that's a superb
Petite
cocktail.
L'Amour?
Petite, yeah. La Petite Mort. Something like that. Little Death. I think it's what it translates to. But yeah, anyway, so this would be a great candidate for a gift, for a bottle share.
Yep.
For cocktails. He likes it. I like it. And guys, with that, let's wrap it up, shall we?
Let's do it.
No matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, never forget. Keep on burning.